Okay, but has Jayalalitha learnt any lessons? The allegations of corruption have been leveled against Miss Jayalalitha as well. If she were to come to power,
in fact,
would Tamil Nadu see governance different from what the DMK has administered?
I have already refuted in your own very channel, where you only anchored, that telling that madam is corrupt is absolutely injustice and unfair. In fact, the false cases were foisted on madam. 13 cases were foisted by the opposition government. In 12 cases, she came out, she was acquitted by the court of law. 13th case, the delay is because of the DMK. So to call AIDMK and our party chief as corrupt is it is a gross injustice done to us.
Swapan, from the voters' perspective, we've just heard what Dr. Maitreyyan said, but allegations have been leveled against Jayalalitha, and people wonder whether a cleaner government is coming if it is changing indeed.
Look, one of the ironies of Tamil Nadu is that it's really one of the best administered states in the country. And this has coexisted along with rampant charges and allegations of corruption, and the perception that the politicians of Tamil Nadu are corrupt is indeed very, very widespread. And I think this extends to both parties. But yet I think really this is the question. Has the electorate become totally immune to this fact of corruption? That is at least one of the implicit suggestions of what Mani is saying. That it's really only the deliverables which are there. Is there no ethical basis to this verdict? And I'm not necessarily exonerating Jayalalitha. What I'm saying is that in any situation like this, it's whenever the incumbent is beleaguered, the advantage naturally goes to the principal opposition, which in this case happens to be the Anna DMK.
Okay. Manishankar, if you want to respond to that, then we'll end the Tamil Nadu debate and move towards Kerala.
I think he's made an important point, and it's the one actually that the CEC has made. He said ruling parties, not the DMK. He says ruling parties are the ones who tend to abuse their power. And how useless is the abuse of this power is demonstrated by the fact that the words anti-incumbency exist in the Oxford English Dictionary, but are only used in India. In India, it is standard for ruling parties to be defeated and for ruling MPs or MLAs to be defeated. So therefore, while there may be some amount of money power that is sought to be used, I don't think it has ever been decisive. Except when it's very, very close, then perhaps it has some influence. But otherwise, I don't believe that money power can in any way determine the outcome of an election. So even if 50 crore have been seized from DMK people, I think the outcome of this election will be determined by 4.6 crore voters, not by 4.6 crore rupees.